On tonight's episode of Chats with Chantla, we'll talk with featured entrepreneur Nia Hines, Chief Experience Officer at Notiq Agency. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chats with Chantla. I'm Chantla Israel, and I'm here with the amazing featured entrepreneur, Nia Hines, and she is the Chief Experience Officer at Notiq Agency. So it's a travel agency, and she's going to talk about so much insight on luxury and premier travel. So how are you doing this evening, Nia?
I am good. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. We're excited because so many of us are, we're getting really tired of being cooped up in the house, knowing that we're interested in learning more about travel and you're going to share your experience. So I'm so excited about that. And so if you're just now joining in, again, this is another episode of Chats with Chantla. This is our second season and the third episode. So Nia, let's just get right into it. I want to ask you a question that so many people are probably wondering. And that question is, why do you do what you do?
Honestly, I love creating experiences for people, once in a lifetime experiences, because time is one thing that we can never get back. And just the idea that I have a piece of creating moments for people that they can only have one time, just excites me. I just love the idea of creating experiences.
I love that. And if anyone, you guys are going to get another glimpse through a commercial about some of the travel destinations that Nia is going to be sharing with us. It's going to blow you off your seat. They are amazing destinations, and she's going to tell us how we can financially prepare for them and also travel safely. So just continue this great conversation. In the beginning of your entrepreneurship, what motivated you to become an entrepreneur, to step out of your 9-to-5 and go into business for yourself?
Well, I guess there's a few different things. Well, one, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I was growing up, I saw what life could look like outside of going to a 9-to-5 every day. So that was a blessing. That was a plus. I started off my entrepreneurial journey actually as a licensed manicurist. I was a nail tech in high school, and I got through college doing nails as well. So when it was time to graduate from college, I was really on the fence. Like, do I want to keep doing nails and open a salon and do all this, or do I want to actually go use my degree? So I chose to use my degree because, of course, I felt like I could continue my entrepreneurial journey later in life at some point. So I started my engineering career as a software engineer, and then I had a huge life moment where I met my dad for the first time. So, and I had started planning a lot of corporate events and things outside of my engineering role, with affinity groups and things like that. So I started planning corporate conferences and seminars and workshops, and I really fell in love with that. And then I started doing weddings. Special shout out to my cousin Heather and Shara. They actually were my two first weddings. I made so many mistakes, but I'm so thankful that they allowed me to have that opportunity. So I started doing weddings, and then I realized that there was a huge connection between events and weddings and travel, because a lot of my clients also needed travel and arrangements and things like that. So, and then when I met my dad, it was almost like a aha moment to just go for it and get started. So I actually started Notiq Agency in 2012. So next year will be our 10-year anniversary. I'm so excited.
Congratulations, as you should be. Yes. As you should. That is an amazing story, because I love how it incorporated so many aspects of your life, like you being exposed to entrepreneurs all your life, you being an entrepreneur at a very young age and doing so many different things. So I just want to welcome some people to the platform tonight. Thank you so much for Tiara joining us this evening. And she already said that she needs a vacation as soon as possible. So she is really tuning in to find out how she can make sure that that happens for her. You're going to get some great tips here. So from tonight's conversation. So make sure you're staying tuned. Also, I want to shout out an amazing person who is Amber Spells. And Amber is actually how I got connected to you. She dropped you and wanted to make sure that I could reach out to you. So hey, so much to Amber. And thank you so much for connecting me with Nia. This is a great conversation that so many people are really interested in doing. So I understand that you talked about like meeting your dad and understanding that life's short and wanting to make sure that you actually basically like are living your life to the fullest, and then having, you know, working with family and them having the support to push you forward, to keep moving, to be almost your 10-year anniversary in this business with Notiq. But I want to also talk about like how you came up with the concept of the idea for Notiq. Was it something personal for you?
Yes. So I loved planning, right? So I'm an engineer, right? So my brain, I'm a planner, I'm very logical. So that's how my brain works. So I loved planning. And then, like I said, creating experiences and just honestly, like I really honed in on my purpose, and it's really like making other people's lives easier. I'm also a business coach, and just I love helping people. Like I love taking a load off of somebody, making their life easier, taking something off their plate that would normally be a headache or get on their nerves, right? And so that I would say that was really, I didn't know it at the time, right? I think I've kind of discovered this over the years, but that's really what gets me going. I mentor young ladies. I do a lot of things, you know, in the community and all that. So that's ultimately the purpose behind it, is helping other people and making their lives easier. And then through that, I can create experiences. It's almost like Notiq Agency is one of the ways that I'm able to express my purpose. You know, coaching is another way that I'm able to express my purpose. So it's like I've discovered what that is, and then I find ways to monetize it and help others in those ways.
Yeah, I love how you talk about being in your purpose. Like everything that you spoke about was being your purpose. Then also you touched about giving back to the community. So it's like a community service. So not only are you, you know, building yourself up, but you're also building your community up. So I really enjoy that. I love that response to that question. But also we want to know, because a lot of us, you know, are either in entrepreneurship for ourselves or thinking about taking that leap. And a lot of us need some different hacks to be able to move forward, stay motivated and driven. So what entrepreneurial hacks do you have that you've developed, you know, to stay focused, or any procedures that help you in your day-to-day?
Yes. So I've had to come up with a lot of hacks. My most recent hack, I'm really hitting it hard with my coaching, and I've started to do videos every Tuesday and Thursday, but I call them Transparency Tuesday and Thursday Thoughts. Sounds great, but it also holds me accountable to always do my videos on those days, right? So I've learned that I have to find ways to hold myself accountable, and I come up with creative ways to do that. So I can't do Tuesday on Wednesday, or I can't do Thursday on Saturday. Like I have to stick to that because that's what the theme. Also, system-wise, I love a software called Asana, A. I think you and I talked about Asana. Oh my gosh, Asana has changed my life. So I am a big note taker. I take notes on everything.
Me too.
And I normally do it on my iPhone, but I started to have so much to juggle that I needed something more than paper, because I had too many moving parts. And so Asana really helps you. You can collaborate with your vendors and suppliers. You can collaborate with clients. You can come up with your to-do list on what you need to do. You can send items to your team members or employees. Like, it is great. So Asana is really like my day-to-day hack, I would say. And then, like I said, I just try to come up with creative ways to hold myself accountable for different things. So
I love that. And I'm a huge note taker and I'm always writing things down. So I'm old school, but I need to definitely look into Asana to making my life a lot easier as I'm planning for this platform, and then my 9 to 5, and then just being like your everyday responsibilities that you're responsible for. I definitely understand the importance of having something that keeps you accountable. And I love how you do things on specific days that it keeps you accountable, because you can't do something you said you're going to do on Tuesday on Wednesday. You can't do something Friday that you said you're going to do on Saturday. So I love that too. So in these other ways, you're keeping yourself accountable in the different hacks that you're doing. And I know that you're an engineer. You spoke to us about that. So engineers always, they do have a system for things. So what is, or what are some of the systems that you set up for your business to help it grow?
Yes. So one big thing, and this is something I, help people with all the time, but even when especially when you have your 9 to 5. So now I'm full-time, entrepreneurship. This has been a journey. It'll be 2 years next month. Yes. But when I was in my 9 to 5, you have to really come up with ways to automate your processes and automate so even though you're at work from 9 to 5, your business still has to be flowing. Your business still has to be like clockwork, right? A client can't wait until you get off work at 6:30 to place an order or to do XYZ. So you have to come up with ways so for me, I definitely relied on systems and a lot of different software. So like a scheduling software. So you don't have to send emails back and forth a million times to somebody to try to schedule something, or, having automated forms and things like that set up so that people can get a response immediately and they don't have to wait. So I would say just looking at your process from the moment you make initial contact with the client all the way till you're done with your product or service, and making sure that it's automated as much as possible throughout that process, especially when you're maintaining a 9 to 5, because you're at work all day, right?
Right.
And you have a certain level of integrity that you have to maintain, with your employer, and not doing your job, your business at your job and things like that. So as many ways you can come up with to automate your process, it will definitely help you continue to grow and not get complaints that you have bad customer service and you're not responsive and things like that.
No, I agree, because I automate my post because I was like, I'm waking up, I wake up between 5 and 5:30 anyways, and I'm trying to do other things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have got out at a certain time. So I just do it for the whole entire week and it's done and I don't have to worry about it. So the automated thing, I definitely agree. And it gives you so much more freedom. And so I think that, sharing that system that works for you on your busy schedule, working with, it could be 10 clients that week, or it could be 20, it could be 100 in a month. You definitely need to be able to sort those all out. So I want to actually give our viewers an opportunity. If you did not see the banner at the bottom, if you have a question for our featured entrepreneur, make sure that you put it in the comments. But I want to shout out again, thank you for joining Chats with Chantla in our second season. This is our third episode with our featured entrepreneur, Nia Hines, and she is the Chief Experience Officer at Notiq Agency. So we're going to learn a little bit more about what Notiq is. So we're going to do a quick video giving you a little bit more about Notiq and some of the travel destinations that they go to. It is going to blow your mind, because I cannot wait to schedule mine. So here it is. So if you're like me and you saw all those destinations, all those amazing destinations, Kenya, Ghana, I think was Dubai on there as well. There are so many places, and these are the places that you can go to and learning more from a travel professional. So you definitely want to get a professional travel advisor so that you can learn more about how you can achieve these ways and these goals to be able to travel these amazing destinations. You want to connect with Notiq, so you'll be able to learn more about how to connect with them later in this conversation. So I want to ask you, Nia, about why is it so important for someone to need a professional travel advisor?
Okay, so what's interesting is people should have. I always encourage people to have one even before COVID, but post, now in the age of coronavirus is what we're calling it. Everything is different. Our day-to-day lives are clearly drastically different, but also in the travel industry, a lot of changes are occurring. I mean, I'm in meetings weekly about changes, and they change constantly. And so having an advisor is so important to help keep you updated and knowledgeable about all the travel restrictions, the entry and exit requirements, and things like that. We also specialize specifically in group travel. So most of our clients, want someone else to handle the coordination across, if anybody has planned a group getaway on their own, they already know the level of headache and hassle that it can be, right? You're trying to coordinate flights across different departure cities. You're trying to help people, with activities and excursions and tours based on their needs and what they like, etc. So we take the time, the coordination, we take all of that off of our clients' plate, and we do all that for them. Also, being able to make informed decisions about travel. A professional advisor can definitely help you with right now. I mean, you can Google all day. You can go to a great website to go to for like latest, greatest information is the State Department's website, state.gov. But it can be a confusing website in some cases, and you may just need someone to reach out to ask questions. So ultimately, being able to make informed decisions, understanding all the restrictions, having travel protection to cover you in the case that you have to cancel. So there are a number of reasons why a professional advisor is so important, especially now. Like, I would strongly encourage everyone to tap into their network and get an advisor for any future travel, because it's changing a lot.
Absolutely. Travel definitely has changed. Like you said, you mentioned our day-to-day lives have changed, just how you operate from going out of your house to the store to work. If you're working inside of a building, dealing with people, everything looks different because of, like you said, the age of coronavirus. And I would not know how to travel correctly with coronavirus travel regulations, and also just being safe. I would not have that knowledge. So, if you are traveling or thinking about traveling, just like what Nia said, you want to connect with a professional travel advisor just to make sure that you know the things, because what may be happening in the country you're traveling from may be different than the country that you're going to. So if you're going to a country that may have different regulations and you don't know, you may not get any further than the airport, and you paid all this money to enjoy something, but you didn't have the professional and that advice moving you forward to make sure that you're able to do that. So we have some people that are watching. I want to shout out Ashley. She watches every week. Thank you so much for watching. And also Lisa Mickens and Trey Brown. So Trey Brown is going to be collaborating. So he's a future entrepreneur on Chats with Chantla in March. But these are some of the viewers that are actually watching, enjoying what you're saying. So it's definitely great. And I also want to just put on the screen what Amber said, that, it's pertinent to have an advisor because, you need those things. You need to make sure that you're aware, because again, who wants to be sitting somewhere, being stuck somewhere that you can't enjoy something that you paid for, especially luxury travel that you do. I definitely want to go to those destinations and be able to enjoy them. Mm-hmm. So as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of metaphors that you hear, maybe that you even put out yourself. What's your favorite metaphor when you're describing entrepreneurship?
Okay, so this may sound a little weird, but I tell myself daily, sometimes multiple times a day, that everything is always perfect. And I feel like, you know, when it comes to being stressed out and having a lot of things on you, like the stress comes from the idea that something is supposed to be different than what you're experiencing in that moment. And so if you release the idea that it's supposed to be some other way and accept the fact that it's exactly how it's supposed to be in that moment, you know, you'll relieve a lot of stress. You'll have, you know, stress doesn't necessarily go away, right? It's there, but I think it's a mental hack, right? That you have to remember that everything is always exactly how it's supposed to be. And I know perfect can sometimes, I know that somebody will be like, well, everything is not always perfect, especially if they're dealing with something heavy, you know, a death of a loved one or anything like that, something very heavy that could be like, oh, I don't want to hear that or whatever. And I understand, but that's just something that I have to do to stay mentally on track. Yeah. Because I mean, you are gonna, especially in full-time entrepreneurship, you are constantly on a roller coaster. And so you have to be able to stay sane and mentally equipped, you know, for that journey. So that's what I tell myself. It works very well. I'm not naive about what the actual situation is in that moment, but that is something that I tell myself to remember, that it's exactly how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be any other way. So accept that and try my best to keep pressing forward.
I think that is a beautiful metaphor. And the reason for it is when you first shared that with me, everything is always perfect. It reminded me about being in the present moment, because there's so many times that we're, you know, physically somewhere, but our mind is somewhere else. Like we're thinking about what we have to do, what we might have to make for dinner and things. So you're missing that perfect moment from being present in it. So I love that, you know, and when you said it to me, it really resonated with me, because I'm like, this is an amazing way to look at life, and also to be reminded that you are not in control.
That's it.
That you are not in control. And so when you recognize, and like you said, take the expectations away from what you think it's supposed to be and enjoy what it is, that's when you relieve stress. That's when things become so much more beautiful. And I think that's when you have a greater appreciation for where you're at. So you're not saying that it's perfect in that 100% way all the time, but you're saying, like, in regards to entrepreneurship, like, I'm supposed to be here. There's a lesson in this, there's something in it, and whatever it is that I want to be present, and that's going to be perfect for me. So I just think that metaphor is a beautiful reminder of so many things. And thank you so much for sharing that. So again, if you're just now tuning in to Chats with Chantla, this is the amazing featured entrepreneur, Nia Hines, and she is sharing her insight on travel. So she is a professional travel advisor. She is the Chief Experience Officer at Notiq Agency, and she is just giving us so much insight on how to travel with COVID regulation. So in the age of the coronavirus, and just giving us insight on how we can actually get to those amazing destinations that we always want to get to. I know Dubai is on my bucket list. So when I saw that, I'm like, all right, I need a group of people that I can travel with, and I can get there. Like, Dubai is so popular this year, but it's always been on my travel bucket list probably for 15 years, but it just looks completely different than what it did 15 years ago. And so I can see why it's so popular. And to be totally honest, when you have a professional travel advisor, you will find out it doesn't have to be as expensive as you think, because you're working with an expert that's going to give you knowledge, it's going to give you ways to save your money, and it's also going to give you the benefit of traveling as a group. I always think like travel group is another way to stay safe in places that you may not be familiar with. So instead of traveling alone, but you're actually with a group, and there's so many positive factors for that. So I'm just getting all these gems that you're sharing with me and all these takeaways. So as you're talking, I'm jotting down. So if anyone sees my hand moving, I don't want to forget the information, even though I can replay. There's nothing like having it in real time. So you're giving us some great insight, and I think it's going to be very useful for a lot of those people that are watching tonight and wanting to have those aspirations of wanting to travel, and especially internationally. I will say, and this is kind of a question that we didn't talk about, but what I found that sometimes you can travel internationally for the same cost that you would travel nationally within the States. Like, it can sometimes be less expensive to travel luxury or premier than it is to go, like, I'll just say it. It's, to me, I think it's cheaper to go to Bali than it is to fly to Florida and go to Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just my experience and my research. I'm like, this makes no sense for me to go, you know, on a flight 3 hours and spend thousands and thousands of dollars where I could have went somewhere and been exposed to a different culture. Do you find that to be true?
Yes, I think that's very true. I think unfortunately there's so many misconceptions about so many countries and places, things people hear and see on TV, especially about Africa. I kind of hate some of the misconceptions people have about Africa, which is one of the reasons, like this year, we're offering 3 different destinations on the continent, right? Ghana, Kenya, and Morocco. It's a gorgeous continent, you know, and there are a lot of misconceptions about Africa, and you know, we see things on TV that are true, you know, in certain places those things are going on, but ultimately it's an absolutely gorgeous continent. So yes, but I completely agree. A lot of times it's it can be much cheaper, especially Mexico and Caribbean, and even Europe, you know, it's much closer. So even Europe sometimes, but yes, you can definitely, and Disney World is probably like one of the most extreme examples because everybody knows Disney World is very expensive, right? But yes, you can really travel internationally, and we offer payment plan options. So a lot of our clients, they book, you know, 8 to 12 months in advance, and they make smart payments and they go wherever. And even the wanderlust destinations that were in the video, you mentioned you wanted to go to Dubai, you can just go with us, right? Because those destinations that were in the video are private escorted group getaways. So I actually attend getaways with our clients, and anyone can sign up for those, but those are private escorted. So you don't have to worry about being with a large group. They're very small, intimate groups, and we travel together. So you can just sign up, Chantla, whenever you're ready.
All right. You know, all I have to just know that, you know, I'll be on the flight, probably sleeping or holding your hand because I'm one of those flyers, but I'll get on the flight because I want to get there. And, you know, you might be hearing me pray a little bit like, okay, God, I think I'm serving, help me out. But I just think that's amazing. I forgot about you talking about travel and you being present, to be an escort, to make sure that people are gaining. That's what I think people, when you guys think about planning financially to go to some of these places, because, you know, Nia, I want you to share a little bit of like the best ways to financially plan to be able to travel, but you kind of gave us a little bit talking about, you know, payment plans. But I just love the fact that that's why it's called an experience. You're not just going on a trip. With Notiq, you're experiencing something. And she gave you one example, like she's present. Like, to me, that is something I'd like people that have millions and millions of dollars would, you know, do. Like, they have an escort to take them somewhere and show them the land and show them the country and show them the different attractions on at the destination that they're traveling to. But I think it's amazing that you guys offer that, and that is how the experience changes. So I want to shout out, and I think she's one of your friends, and her name is her last name is Mills. So I want to say Miss Mills because I do not want to mispronounce her first name. So thank you so much for joining the platform here at Chats with Chantla and supporting your great friend. I think she's amazing, sharing so much information. Also, I love that Amber said this too in regards to travel is wellness. You know, travel definitely is wellness. And when you're thinking about self-care, like, could you imagine like just being able to get away, wake up and you hear the beach or you hear the sounds and you see the sun? I think that's amazing. But also, Nia, I want to ask you, because there is a question in the comment that I want to get to, because I wanted you, though, to share with us after this question ways that we, you know, the best ways to you know, prepare financially or plan financially to be able to travel. But Tennille has a question, and that question is, what do you think about a week trip to Monterey Bay, you know, coming in May, and all inclusive? And how much would it cost for like a couple, if you do know that? And how do you go about being extra safe, especially because COVID is still crazy at our present time? So there's a little bit of questions in that.
Yeah. So actually, we just had a group come back from Jamaica, Montego Bay. They were celebrating a 40th birthday celebration. I would say on average, Montego Bay is normally anywhere around $1,500 per person, like at the lowest. It really depends on what tier of a resort you stay at, but I mean, that's a good number to kind of plan, around $1,500 per person. And that should include your all-inclusive resort stay, your airfare, your airport transfers, your travel protection, all of that. So that $1,500 per person is probably a good price point to plan for. How do I go about being extra safe? Well, it's the same safety measures we're using here in the States are being strongly encouraged across the globe, right? This pandemic has impacted the entire globe, so it's not specific to the United States. So I would say one thing is, for example, adding butler service to your resort stay. That helps minimize the level of contact that you're having. So you can just call your butler. They can bring whatever you need to your room. We had butler service when we went to Negril. A group of us went to Negril in October. Absolutely loved it. And now it's like, and those are the types of things, honestly, that once you start tapping your foot in the,
right,
those types of, you don't want to travel without.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that because I had an experience that I had the opportunity to have a butler and I stayed at a hotel. Like I wanted to take him home. I was like, I don't have to do anything. Like I went out to the infinity pool, came back and they had a bath drawn for me because I told them what time I wanted it. I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to live like this every day. So I agree. Like once you experience that, you'll definitely want to plan accordingly to be able to always have that. So tell us some best ways to plan financially to be able to travel. You did say the payment plans, but do you have anything else that you want to share?
Yeah, so we do monthly payment plans. So you can do like a small deposit to just lock in your pricing, and then you can do monthly payments thereafter. I would say 90% of our clients are on payment plan. We do have some people that always do, lump sum payment, but I would say the majority do monthly payment plans. And then we also have a partner called Uplift, and they offer, so let's say you have a last minute getaway. Let's say you want to go to Hawaii next month and your trip is $4,000, $5,000. You don't necessarily want to come out of all that money next month. You can use our partner Uplift. They do add interest, but they will stretch your payments over a 12-month period. So even though you're traveling next month, you can still make payments once you return home. But our standard payment plan, you would have your travel paid in full prior to departure. So we only encourage Uplift if it's a last minute getaway, and it's a larger sum, and you don't want to necessarily come out of that money in a month or 2 months. But that's an option. And then also our standard plans, if you're planning to book anywhere from 8 to 12 months in advance, that's a good option as well.
Love that. Thank you so much. And Chanel just said she wanted to thank you for the information. Thank you so much, Ms. Nia. She's going to be reaching out to you. So great. Thank you so much. See, all the entrepreneurs that come on the platform Chats with Chantla, we're always learning and also ways to connect. So that's what I say. The platform is here to highlight, small business owners doing great impact or huge impact in their communities and also in their lives and the lives of others, but to build, connect, and collaborate. So thank you so much, Chanel, for watching. I want to shout out Miss Mills. She said that she loves to travel and she cannot wait to visit Africa. Hopefully you're not the only one on that trip, and there's going to be other people doing the same that are on Chats with Chantla. And also I want to shout out Yusuf, and he says hello, and he just wants to say, that are you familiar with Yusuf, or have you heard of Yusuf before?
I guess that company organizes things in Morocco.
Okay, well, Yusuf, thank you for watching Chats with Chantla, but we are highlighting Notiq agency, and they are our professional travel advisors for this evening. So thank you for watching, but I am so learning so much about how to travel and how to do it properly. And also I have a great friend, Crystal Calloway, and she wants to know about the trips to Africa. So Crystal, you want to connect with Nia and learn more about that, because there are some amazing trips. What are those 3 destinations that you have in Africa again that this you can?
This year we're offering Kenya, Ghana, and Morocco. And if you just go to our website, notiqagency.com, and click on small group travel experiences, you'll see all of the details for all of those trips. And then we also have Costa Rica and Dubai as well this year.
Great. You know what? Just because Crystal is somebody that I adore and I grew up with, and she is close to my heart, we're just going to do that quick commercial again for her so that she sees. So Crystal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this quick, 30-second commercial for you, and you're going to get destination locations for not just Africa, but other places. But I'm going to do this for you because you're my girl. I definitely felt that that was necessary for Crystal because her husband is an extremely faithful and loyal individual in the military. So he is in the Air Force. And I don't want to say, because I know he's a high-ranking officer in the military. So they do a lot of travel and they do so much for this country that I definitely want to give her the opportunity. And so her and her husband, she said, want to go there for their anniversary. So you are watching and tuning in to the exact episode of Chats with Chantla that you need. You need to make sure that you connect with me after this show. So we're going to be dropping her social media handles and also telephone number and website for that. And Crystal wants to say thank you and that she loved that video. So I'm glad that you had the opportunity to see that because it just gives us an opportunity to learn more. You know, some people, because of their work schedule, they join in at 7, then they come trickle in later, a little bit later. So I want to give the opportunity for people to know more about what you're bringing to this platform and your experience as a professional travel agent. Advisor. So I wanted to apologize for calling you an agent because you're more than that. You're an advisor. So I definitely agree that Ms. Mills said she wants to experience the Butler experience. Believe me, I do too. She's not the only one because when you're talking about it, I was like, I definitely want to do that. And also one of my favorite people that are watching again this week is Kim. And she said, thank you. And she needs to see all of that and that all is well. So I'm so glad that she's able to join as well. So I want to keep this amazing conversation learning about how to travel and how it's so important to have a professional travel advisor with you and working with one as well. So also, what are some of the best ways to stay up to date on the latest travel news and information?
Well, the State Department's website, state.gov, is a great resource. They always have, the latest and greatest as far as what the country, United States, is doing as a country, and travel restrictions even in other countries, etc. But it can be a little confusing, which is why I did mention having an advisor. Also, go visit our website and sign up for our newsletter. We send out every week. We send out up-to-date information, the latest travel news, the latest information. So we really keep our clients or anyone on our mailing list up to date as to what's really happening. And we also just started a private Facebook group called the Notiq Experience. So please join that. And that will also, we plan to provide a lot of information in that group as well that may not necessarily be included, because our newsletters, we try to stay very up to date and current as to what's happening. And then also, lastly, our blog. We do have a blog we just launched this year, notiqagency.com/blog. And there you can also get, travel. We just released an article on travel trends, what are some of the trends this year, etc. So private Facebook group, sign up for our mailing list online for our weekly news bites, and join our private Facebook group. And of course, state.gov is always there for you as well.
And so you said the blog is the notiqagency.com/blog. Is that what it is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So she just dropped so many ways that you can stay up to date about travel news and also just keeping yourself about the information on travel. So go to all those, but the best way just to do it is to sign up, follow Notiq Agency, become a partner with them and get all the instant information that you need to make sure you're traveling safely and just feeling comfortable and confident with your travel experience. But again, let me take it back to making sure that you are working with a professional travel advisor like Nia Hines that we're having tonight and we're talking to and learning so much. So I want to ask again, If any of you guys have any questions for Nia tonight, make sure that you are putting it in the comment section so that we can answer it. I'll give you an opportunity. If there's a question that's burning inside that you want to know about travel, here's the perfect person, because I know nothing and I'm learning as she speaks. And here's an opportunity to be talking about an expert in this field and not walking away from this episode saying, I wish I would have asked this. So if you are just tuning in, we have the amazing featured entrepreneur, Nia Hines of Notiq agency, and it is a premier luxury travel experience. If you're wanting to you want to connect with her and make sure that you're able to do that and just learn more about your travel and how to do that confidently. And she offers group travel where she escorts it and then teaches you how to, gain the experience of working with a butler or having a butler. That's the selling point for me, both of those. So I feel safe and confident, and then I'll just feel completely pampered with having somebody to support me and pamper me, on the different needs that I have. But I'll definitely feel a lot safer with not having to interact with as many people, because I'm still not there yet. And some people's level of comfort is different. And mine is still as if the pandemic just started yesterday. So, that's where I'm still sitting with all of this. But I want to know more about, because I know as a professional travel advisor, you've done a lot of traveling yourself. And sometimes when you're on the job as an escort, you're doing a lot more to make sure that the group that you're traveling with is having this luxury experience. But how about some of your favorite destinations that you travel to and why?
Okay, so if you go to our YouTube page, you might see this. I did a video last year about if I was to have a destination wedding, where would I have it? So I kind of named some of my favorite destinations, but I would say my favorite ones right now, because I have so many more to go to, but I would say Hawaii. For United States, I would definitely say Hawaii. Hawaii can be a bit pricey. Like a normal hamburger that may be $5 here is probably that same hamburger is $15 or $20 in Hawaii. So Hawaii pricing is a little inflated, and flights to Hawaii are much, you may pay anywhere from $800 to $1,200 per person for a flight to Hawaii. But once you get there, it's amazing. All the islands offer a different vibe and a different feel. So I love that for United States. I would say internationally, I would say South Africa, Kenya, and if I had to pick, I would say Europe, but specifically, let me clarify, like the south of France. So like Nice, Monaco, Monte Carlo, like down by the Mediterranean, absolutely gorgeous. Like I love water. So I would say like the south of France, South Africa, like Victoria Falls is gorgeous, Cape Town. And then Kenya is, I absolutely, and honestly, Kenya is really a good destination right now during the COVID, right? Because it's one of the best safari experiences on the globe. And you are in wide open terrain. It's not a, crowded up, a crowded type of setup. You're out enjoying the animals and the weather. And I mean, it's the bomb. And so that safari experiences are definitely a plus with everything going on with COVID, because there aren't like tight closed spaces and tight crowds and things like that. You're literally out in the open on a wide open Jeep. So really, really nice.
I love that. But I don't know, if I was there, I would definitely need to be with you, because I always think about safaris like, okay, now if a lion comes up to, it's having a bad day, or a giraffe or an elephant, like I'm probably going to be telling the natives, like whatever word that means go, I'm probably going to be that's the first word I learned. And then faster is probably going to be the second word that I learned. Like, and then do you shoot? Like, will you shoot like a warning shot? Not to kill the animals, but would you shoot like to maybe like let them know like, okay, we're not here to play, we're trying to get away, let me stop. But I'm serious. Like there are all these different things, and Kenya sounds beautiful. I think it's a place that, a coworker of mine actually went this year, and she came back and she was just glowing. Like she was glowing for several reasons. And I'm just like, the experience to be able to place your feet on that continent would probably be so surreal for me. That people would probably be looking like, why are you crying? I'm like, I made it, like So there's a lot that's like sentimental reasons for different people. And, but a lot of times people just go there for a spiritual experience as well. Like they just want to reconnect. Like this is like the root of me, especially people of color. And I definitely look, I probably didn't say like 3 places I want to go to. Then I'm like, my husband's probably like, okay, now calm down, you know, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way. And, I positively, and let's make this happen. Definitely. So if you guys have any questions for our featured entrepreneur, make sure that you put it in the comment. And we do have a question that I believe that was sparked because of your safari illustration and just talking about it. So Ashley wants to know, how many people do they allow on each safari trip when you're in Kenya during this time?
So honestly, like I said, COVID hasn't really impacted the safari experiences that much, especially luxury safari experiences, because they were always very small groups. So anywhere from most Jeeps will do 6 to 8 travelers, and that's it. And so if it's larger than that, then you would have 2 or 3 Jeeps, but you're not compact. A lot of people, and there, like I said, it's wide open. We have some photos on our Facebook page, kind of how it looks and all of that. But yes, so I would say, anywhere from 6 to 8 people.
Mm-hmm. And can you remind us of that Facebook page so that we're able to go and see that if we want to look?
On Facebook, you can find us at Notiq Agency. And on Instagram, it's also at Notiq Agency. And then if you would like to join our private Facebook group, we just launched maybe 2 weeks ago. That is called the Notiq Experience. And that's a private group where we'll answer questions. We'll have like little, fun things that we talk about, sharing personal photos, things like that. So that's a private group. But our business page is Notiq Agency. And I am in Hines. That's my personal. Well, it's not personal anymore. So that's my business coaching page. But yes, but I do have photos on there too as well. I do post photos when I travel. So
wonderful. Thank you so much for that. We do have another question that Ms. Mills would like to know is, are vaccinations or vaccines required to visit Kenya?
Yes. So the yellow fever vaccination is required, and that was pre-COVID. That was required. We don't know what's going to happen as far as a COVID vaccination. They're still discussing what those requirements may look like, if there'll even be any requirements. But yes, currently a yellow fever vaccination is required for entry into Kenya.
Okay, thank you. And another question that she has, what is the COVID-19 requirements when you return home to the United States?
Yes, so that's still in discussion. So starting tomorrow officially, January 26th, that is tomorrow, right? Yes. Starting tomorrow, they are going to require COVID testing when you enter the US, but literally just since Biden has been, like literally last Thursday, he changed a lot of the policies. And we are constantly in meetings about this daily. So we really don't know how that's going to shake out. Right now, they are requiring vaccinations from people that are not US citizens. Starting tomorrow, they're supposed to be requiring it from US citizens. But again, Biden, literally, as soon as he hit the ground, he made a lot of changes, and we're actually including some of that in our newsletter tomorrow. So please be sure to sign up. But he kind of came in and made a lot of changes, favorable actually to the travel industry. But yes, so right now it's a little shaky to say what the exact requirements will be, but they are requiring vaccinations right now, or I should say a proof of a negative COVID test from non-US citizens when they enter the US. Tomorrow it's supposed to go across the board even for US citizens, but again, it's kind of in the air, and there's a lot of discussion about what that's going to look like.
Yeah, no, and like you said, like if we want to know about travel news and information, we want to follow Notiq Agency to make sure that we're part of that. Follow, go to their website and learn more, and also just be a part of like being a partner with them, so you can get newsletters and you can get information and possible alerts as well if you're following them on social media platforms. Also, thank you so much for sharing those amazing questions. I think those are great questions and very like informative for everyone who's watching. So again, this is season 2 of Chats with Chantla. This is the 3rd episode of season 2, and we have the amazing entrepreneur Nia Hines, and she is the Chief Experience Officer at Notiq Agency. So she is a professional travel advisor, and you want to make sure that you learn more about travel, especially working with a professional, so that you can have the best experience. The difference between taking a trip and having experiences with working with someone like Nia. You want to make sure that you connect with a professional travel advisor, and you want to make sure that you connect with the Notiq Agency. I think that is definitely who you want to connect with. So thank you so much for joining the platform tonight, Natalie. And so she said, what is your website? So you can go ahead and share that, and I'll also pull it up on the screen as well.
Okay, it's www.notiqagency.com.
Wonderful. So I love that. So it's a great segue into our next question, which is we all want to help. And so our viewers are watching, they want to help, and they also want to connect with you. So you did say that www.notiqagency.com is one way of connecting with you. What's another way, your social media handles that you may have for us?
It's at Notiq Agency for Instagram, and for Facebook, it is Notiq Agency. And then we also have a private Facebook group called the Notiq Experience that you can join as well. We have a YouTube channel with videos and things that we've tried to keep you updated with. That's we don't have a specific link for that. You just have to go to YouTube and type in Notiq Agency and it'll come up. And then we also have a blog and a newsletter as well, a weekly newsletter that you can go to our website and sign up for. And you can go to our website and visit the blog as well.
I love that. And so Natalie just wanted to say thank you for giving her that information. And Natalie, if you didn't know and you're just now joining in, there are some amazing destinations that you can go to across the world. You can have the butler experience. You can have the experience of being escorted and having Nia as one of the escorts that is traveling with you so that you have an experience. So many of us have been on trips. Do not confuse a trip with an experience that you can have with Notiq Agency. Those are two separate things. Because I've been on a lot of trips, but I have not always had the best experience. So I definitely need a professional travel advisor to be able to do that. So I just want to take a quick break and share with who's going to be on Chats with Chantla next week before we come back with Nia Hines, the Chief Experience Officer at Notiq Agency, to give us some final thoughts for our viewers tonight. So we're going to see who's going to be on Chats with Chantla next week. So let's tune in. Next week on Chats with Chantla, we'll have featured entrepreneur Sage Love, CEO and founder of Sage Love Productions. Yeah, so you don't want to miss that. So Sage Love is kicking off Black History Month, and he is going to be talking about his experience in the film industry. But I also just want to say that Sage Love, he has had a billboard in Times Square, and then had his indie film that was advertised in Times Square, tweeted again by Wyclef Jean from the Fuji. So I was like, all right, I'm glad that I'm able to get you now. Right. Absolutely. So I'm really excited about that. And so I thank you, Parlay, for joining. Parlay is an amazing poet, and she is a great friend. So she's just joining in also. But also, Natalie, just wanted to say thank you so much. Nia, let's make it happen. So you're going to be able to make it happen as you connect with her. And again, just in case you need to see that website address, here it is for you, Natalie, and all the other viewers that are watching. But I want to share this opportunity to give you an opportunity to share, your final thoughts about, travel, about any encouragement about entrepreneurship with our viewers. So I just want to hand this over to our featured entrepreneur, Nia Hines.
Yeah, so I would just say, of course, we've kind of stressed this during this chat today, but definitely secure a professional advisor, even if it's not Notiq agency. We're actually having a webinar next Tuesday, 7 p.m. We'll be advertising it on our social media platforms as well as our newsletter. So if you are following us, you'll definitely see the information. But we're having a webinar next week with some top tier travel advisors, some of our past Notiq agency international clients, a medical health professional, and we're really going to be hashing out and answering questions for you as it relates to travel, any misconceptions or concerns, etc., that you have. So there's a whole community of professional advisors ready and willing to assist you. So definitely find someone that'll be a good fit. We specialize in group travel, but we can point you in the right direction with other advisors that we work with. Amber is one of them who was actually on here and connected Chantla and I. And then I would just say, last year was a rough year for most of us. And one of the huge travel trends for this year is bucket list destinations. I would just strongly encourage you to just live your life to the fullest, tap into being able to experience different places, different countries, different continents. Because we only live once. YOLO is my, I guess I coined that term and I say that a lot, but you only live once. So strongly encourage you to just live your life to the fullest. I definitely understand that not everyone is comfortable with traveling right now. Totally understand. But if you are, just make sure you're making informed decisions. You understand what you need to know as far as entry and exit requirements, things that you can do once you get there to continue staying safe, like I mentioned, the butler service, etc. So I just encourage you to be informed, travel safely, have a good time. Life isn't ending or stopping, it's going on, and just do it at your pace and how you feel comfortable. But we are here whenever you're ready. And I just thank you so much for this opportunity. This was great.
Oh my God. It was such an educational episode for me, especially because a lot of us who are watching have the aspirations to want to travel, have a lot of comforts about how to travel, but also I want to say like financial fears that we weren't able to get to those beautiful destinations that you shared. And a lot of times it's the lack of knowledge that doesn't allow us to get there. So hearing that a lot of your clients do a lot of monthly payments, teaching us how to save, different last minute vendors that we could use to be able to get to these destinations. But what I took away from this is that travel is for everybody. Travel can be for anyone who wants it. Travel is a part of wellness. You can have a difference between a trip and an experience, and Notiq is where you need to go to make sure that you're having that experience. There's a difference between just going somewhere and getting an average experience, but having a luxury premier experience working with Notiq. I think that is what we're all looking for. And I think a lot of us, realizing being hit so strongly with the pandemic and just changing the whole way that you're living and how you see yourself. I think there's going to be a lot more people traveling to experience life and experience different cultures. And we need professional travel advisors like yourself, Nia. So I appreciate you coming on Chats with Chantla this evening, sharing your professional insight, sharing also some of your personal stories about your experience, about entrepreneurship, being a true example of just starting something and then seeing it through every single day, but also just guiding us and being a great verbal guide and also a motivator for us to get out of our comfort zone and experience the world. It is bigger than the city, community, state, and country that you live in. So it has been a pleasure. You have graced this platform and beauty, style, and so much more. And that's knowledge. And I just really appreciate you saying yes to this collaboration. So again, thank you so much for joining Chats with Chantla. It has been another episode with an amazing entrepreneur. So make sure you're staying tuned. So we have another entrepreneur next week at 7 every Monday here at the platform. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great evening.